I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago when Marvel Comics said that they're turning into a lifestyle brand, and they started doing these like cooking shows and things like that on their YouTube channel. It was so cringy. And now we're seeing D&D's doing much the same. And this is what happens when woke weirdos take over an organization. They turn it from what you love and they make it into just stupidity all the way around. And part of the campaign here of the wokeism is to make orcs into normal persons, right? And so here's what we got going today. This is hilarious. Following up from last week where we revealed the craziness going on with the Dungeon Master's Guide and the safe spaces that they're creating in this new edition. You can't make this kind of stuff up. And so let's laugh at these people together because that's all we can do, my friends. Please smash that like and subscribe button as we talk about all things gaming on here on the channel. I really appreciate you guys for being there as we've been growing by leaps and bounds over the last few months. And it's all because we tell the truth that a lot of people won't in board gaming and science fiction and fantasy and more. I write my own fantasy novels, and if you like great world building, stuff that is worthy of RPGs, one day I'll make an RPG of this setting. My Adventures of Baron von Monocle for Steam and Country is the first novel here. And it's about swashbuckling adventures on an airship, fighting against all sorts of enemies as the series progresses. Gets into a crazy war, which is still raging on as this book series is six books in right now. And it's all available on ebook, print, and audio. If you want to support some great fantasy stuff, grab this in the description below. Thank you guys so much for reading the books. We appreciate you for being there and appreciate you supporting our channel. So, yeah, here's the news story of the day. Like I said, last week we talked about the safe spaces in D&D, and I guess the new Dungeon Master's Guide has a X that you make with your arms. It's like a safe word, Dungeon Master, which is weird because, and this is the problem. I mean, they've taken the word dungeon and master, and of course, all these weird people who are woke turn everything into their weird sex fetishes, right? They can't leave it alone. Now, when you talk about Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon Crawler is a board game design and tabletop RPG design, and you're going into like a layer of a mysterious wizard and fighting some orcs and kobolds and things, and then you fight the wizard at the boss at the end, and you pretend to be an adventurer fighting. But when these people hear master and dungeon, they think of weird BDSM fetish stuff. And so that's what they're inserting into the game because that's who's designing these games at this point. They're not gamers anymore. They're weird freaks who have spent too much time terminally online looking at pornography, and of course, you know exactly what's transpired because of that. So not only that, but the woke weirdos that are also there as they strive to be more inclusive want to make the game not the game anymore. When you invite women into these things, women don't want to have just a standard dungeon crawl adventure. Women want to have like dress-up time and tea parties and things like that, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Women are allowed to do whatever women want to do. But the problem with women these days is they're forcing all of men's things and boys' things to be just co-opted into women's things also in addition to their things. They can't just be satisfied with their Barbie and their My Little Pony and the like. They have to come in here and say that Star Wars is theirs now. The Force is female. Dungeons and Dragons is theirs now. And they're just invading the space, making it so there's nothing for boys to do, that they can't get away from this crap anymore. And boys don't want to play this stuff, and that's exactly why they are forcing it as a content upon everything else. And so this is what Grums is talking about today. What's happening to Dungeons and Dragons? Why is it all coffee making, bread baking, and now whatever it is? I think I answered your question, bro. It is all about trying to force Dungeons and Dragons to be a female-centric space, just like everything else. Bring back fights, heroic values, and adventure. And yes, that's what we're doing in fiction here. That's what we're doing across everything as we take things back, because honestly, guys, you don't need these games. It's just a brand at this point. It doesn't mean anything. New Dungeons and Dragons is nothing compared to old AD&D. And there's other great systems out there. I always talk about Axe, ACKS, as a wonderful system. And if you don't know that one, you should go seek it out because it's great. So that's our recommendation as we get through this. Now, Nerd Cognito talked about this, saying, we already know the module sucks and players who don't really play the game are the target audience. And that's the thing. That's what these people do. They want a different audience than is their audience. They always think the grass is greener on the other side. Comic books, they don't want it. their normal comic book audience. So they try to make these weird Dazzler issues out of X-Men now, where it's all like this allegory for homosexuality with these girls dancing through the entire thing. And nobody wants to read that crap. And so guess what? The girls don't want to read it because they think the comic books are a boys thing, and it is. And the boys don't read it because they're not interested in that kind of thing. So your modern audience there is always zero. We've seen this in video games, especially with Conquered and Dustborn. When you're trying to appeal to these crazy demographics, they don't come in and buy stuff. And moreover, they don't have any disposable income to do so. So, you try to get a girl into baking or whatever, and you throw a giant orc on it, you think she's interested in that? No, nobody's interested in this. This is the thing. And here it is. Let's talk about what the F this thing is that's baking a human pie. It's a human pie. Make orcs evil again. This stems right out of Rings of Power with like the refugee orcs that they were having out there that just wanted to raise their families. I mean, this stuff is a meme because it's stupid and ridiculous. We all know that orcs are evil and that orcs are the bad guys, and that's something that has always been the case. And this is Dungeons & Dragons announces Mythical Meats. Mythical Meat, a food-themed whimsical quest. How ridiculous. And this is really funny, and I guess somebody else did this over a year ago. Here's the comments here. Just when you thought it possibly couldn't get more lame, it's amazing how much Wizards of the Coast shitty game lives inside all of y'all's head rent-free, is what they say. But no, Gary, like they're trying to force this on us, and we are the gamers. This is an incorrect take. I cannot imagine how a 13-year-old boy would find any excitement in this. If they just re-release this book, the Wizards of the Coast target demographic would have no problem understanding magic, but would have a 12-hour session 0 to puzzle over men. This is rules for fantastic medieval war games, campaigns playable with paper and pencil, and miniatures figurines by Gygax, of course. This is the Orc in My Work of Progress new book. As you can see, this is an evil-looking orc. Ruin women shit. I have an equally valid suggestion. Make D&D again and stop with the tabletop DDO ripoff. Amen to that. And of course, everybody is mostly opposed to this sort of thing because it's so stupid. It is the dumbest idea you could possibly come up with. And that's what they're doing with everything. I mean, everything's going to be... They had a one that was an LGBTQ-themed adventure they were, of course, putting out last year, which was like a high school dance for D&D creatures. It was so weird. It's like, again... Who wants to play this kind of thing? Who thought this is a great idea to do with the brand? But these are insane people, and they don't care about the brand. If you watched my last video earlier today on board gaming, there was a board game store canceling a board game because from a convention, saying they didn't want to go to the convention because somebody else was sponsoring that convention, a different board game designer, who, quote, didn't align with our values. And this was a board game store saying this. And I'm like, shouldn't your values be like playing board games and selling board games? Like, what are you trying to do, trying to stop a board game from like getting some advertising attention? It's insane. But these people are not about their products. They're not about you. They're not about the gamers. They're not about actually even doing the legacy justice. They want to remake everything as their own in this weird woke nonsense that's just absolutely absurd and obscene at this point. And everybody's fed up with it. And this is crazy because clearly it's not going to sell. Clearly it's not going to go anywhere. And yet they're going to keep doubling down on it anyway because Wizards of the Coast is just completely paused at this juncture, and there's no going back with this company. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. This is so crazy. Are you going to be playing Mythical Meats, a whimsical food adventure, my friends, with your baker orcs? All right, leave that comment, and please check out For Steam and Country for some good fantasy. It's in the description below. We'll be back soon.